He was blown away. Quote, "I can report, ladies and gents, that the overall effect is astonishing. It's so human," I gasped. "So smooth." This was a quote from former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who is beta testing the latest Tesla humanoid robot. Wait, sorry, my editor's in my ear. What? Oh, oops. The latest version of FSD. Easy mistake to make. Right. Wait, what's this on screen right now? I'm going to have to edit this out. It's totally unrelated. Did he just grab it right by the... So anyway, let's watch this very short clip of former UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson having his mind blown by FSD.
Folks, here I am doing something that frankly I never believed would be possible. I'm sitting at the wheel of a moving car, and that car is on the busy, heaving, sometimes dangerous streets of Los Angeles, and yet I'm not driving the car is driving itself. I believe self-driving cars, automatic cars, are the future. Read my column.
So, let's read his column. But first, why is this on screen right now? Accumulated retained earnings / losses. Tesla versus NIO since inception. Now stick with me if you're a little bit confused. Believe me, this is related. NIO's accumulated losses to date now more than double Tesla's accumulated losses prior to printing insane amounts of money. Okay, in simple terms, NIO has already lost twice as much money on their way to eventually going bankrupt. Being successful, already lost twice as much money as Tesla ever did, in simple terms. And they're not making money yet. Oh, and they have to compete with Tesla. And also they were able to learn from mistakes Tesla had made and didn't. By the way, shout out to the idiots who thought battery swap was a great idea. You fucking morons. Yeah, great idea. What are you going to do with all that wasted capital? You idiots. This is a classic example of one of the many missteps made by NIO. Now, look, I'm not a hater. I'm just pointing out, for example, as I said in the past, the idea of battery swap. Oh, sounds cool. Oh, yeah, that's so convenient. Except when you use your brain and realize, wait, all those batteries that are sitting in swap stations instead of being in vehicles sold to customers are wasted capital. Don't get me started. Now, we don't know what this trend will look like for NIO in the future. Maybe suddenly goes absolutely vertical and overtakes Tesla in a shorter period of time. Or it's also possible that they just keep mounting and go bankrupt, or maybe continue losing money, or maybe the losses flatten off and then start to reverse. Who knows? So why is this related to Boris Johnson's recent trip in FSD? Because Tesla, along this path, on screen now, managed to develop this incredible software. It ain't NIO FSD blowing people's minds, is it? This is a compelling insight into how lean, resourceful, and extremely efficient Tesla the company is. I mean, does NIO have a thriving megapack business yet either? No? Interesting. Now look, it's important to be fair. These are years after the company's formation. Tesla now a couple of decades in, NIO just approaching their first decade in business. So who knows what the future looks like? But the present already shows twice the accumulated losses so far to date for NIO than Tesla ever did. Ponderous. So let's read this article. And before we do, I have a question. Is it possible that Boris hasn't got the message that Elon bad? Wonder how many ex-presidents of the United States you'll see writing pieces like this. By the way, folks, this is probably going to have a positive impact on Tesla's rollout of FSD in parts of Europe. Oh, Boris liked it. Boris said it's good. Cool. Can't hurt, that's for sure. You need a fair bit of nerve to get in any kind of car on the streets of Los Angeles or walk the streets. This very morning, I've been watching the TV news in a hotel. TV news? Oh, God. And when they aren't talking about hush money for Stormy Daniels, they're going to live traffic reports. And boy, this is Prang City. I'm not sure if Prang is a British/Australian term. That means an accident, in case you guys are unaware. Maybe you know. Every major artery is flashing with pile-ups, and you have the impression that the Angelinos are in a state of constant collision, like some form of subatomic particles. Heaven knows what they are doing, looking at the stock market, walloping their kids, maybe they're high on fentanyl, craning their necks to read the ubiquitous giant billboards advertising the services of Better Call Saul type accident lawyers. Whatever the reason, the population of the city suffers from 52,000 motor vehicle accidents every year. That's over 140 shunts, bumps, dings and fender benders every day. And I'm afraid there are, of course, many hundreds of human beings who are either badly injured or lose their lives. All this carnage is happening in normal motor vehicles, where the drivers are meant to be paying the utmost attention to the road. We are talking about conventional machines, where human beings are doing their level best, with all their jangling senses to anticipate each other's mistakes, to study the traffic, and to turn the steering wheel in time. Today, however, I'm about to entrust my life and the lives of my wife and 10-month-old baby to an entirely different species of machine. A machine where no one, or at least no human being, is in control. So taking a quick moment here, he's already built up the fact there's a fuck ton of accidents, injuries, disabilities and deaths due to human errors, human drivers. So far so good. Typically, most of the bullshit we'll hear in the hate-stream media is fear-mongering about driverless vehicles because it gets attention and unfortunately can scare a lot of people away from the very idea, even though on paper, obviously, over the long term they'll be much safer and save fuck tons of lives, prevent so many deaths, disabilities and injuries. We are about to be conveyed in a new type of car, so preposterous, so audacious, so revolutionary that 10 years ago I would have refused to believe that it was possible. Maybe on some test track, maybe in lab conditions, but I never expected to see it in the heavy traffic of a major urban centre. I'm about to embark on the seething Limpopo. What the... is this... what? Huh? I think I learned a new word today. Let's find out. What is Limpopo? Okay, apparently not a word, but a place, a province in South Africa, the northernmost. There you go. Clear my geography, not up to scratch. Full of predatory crocs and barging... oh, yeah, I could have read on and probably figured that out. And barging hippos. In a car that drives itself. We're getting in a car without eyes to see, without hands to indicate, and without feet to slam on the brakes. This car has no natural terror, none of the paranoia that is so vital for human drivers. It has only dozens of tiny cameras, the size of jelly tots, discreetly and mainly invisibly concealed about its sleek white bodywork. And it has a neural system, an electronic brain, that is getting more powerful with every week that passes. I can report, ladies and gents, that the overall effect is astonishing. You remember the bit in the poem when stout Cortez first sees the Pacific from the Andes Mountains? By the way, I don't. Does anyone? And looks upon it with eagle eyes, while all these men gaze at each other with a wild surmise. Those are the kind of looks that are darting between us. Wild surmise as we move off smoothly in that self-driving Tesla. I'm sitting at the wheel, but not touching it. And though my feet are near the pedals, I am not using them. And oh my word, the steering wheel is twiddling itself. It's eerie at first, like watching a ghost depress the keys of a piano. Now it's indicating, giving way, floating across the traffic with all the delicacy and tact of a living chauffeur. It's so human, I gasp, so smooth. Buttery smooth, assents the man from Tesla. He is there to watch over this expensive prototype, but doing nothing, I assure you, to drive it or control it. Now we have come to a very tricky crossroads, where 5 roads meet in the middle of Beverly Hills, and we have to go left. The traffic is coming towards us quite fast, barreling busily down the streets with their lofty palms and $100 million homes. What the hell happens, I wonder, if this thing malfunctions now? Embarrassing or what? What if it has some fit, some suicidal episode like the onboard computer in 2001, A Space Odyssey? By the way, classic film. What if Putin is already inside its brain and some Russian bot is preparing to hurl us headlong into the oncoming wall of steel? What if it suffers from some sat-nav malfunction and suddenly has no idea where it is? Don't worry, says the man from Tesla. It doesn't need satellites. And he is right. With impeccable good manners, giving all other vehicles plenty of notice, we turn left and I become so relaxed that I am able to take in the boldness of Tesla's plan. There are already a few driverless cars on the roads of LA that have a license to carry passengers. They are run by a firm called Waygo. Close. And they have big rotating sensory turrets on the roof. But they comply only a very small part of the city because they are specifically programmed to understand those streets. Now, Boris has been well informed here, and this is important, as opposed to Tesla's generalized solution. The likes of Cruise and Waymo are specifically programmed to understand those specific streets. Very different things. This Tesla machine is far more ambitious, and its cameras and neural network will allow it to go anywhere as soon as it is fully licensed and approved. Quote, "It's more than safe," says the man from Tesla. It's 5 or 6 times safer than a human driver. Think what we human drivers have to do, he explains. You are constantly looking at the road, constantly turning around, jumping in here, never mind many of the other distracting sights, sounds, plus 9s and 10s. But even if you have eyes in the back of your head, you don't see as much as we do. We see 100%. As he speaks, a man slowly totters into the traffic in front of us, looking a bit the worse for wear. I wonder what he's on. Wait, what? Instinctively, I reach for the wheel. My toe twitches for the brake, but I need not have worried. The car has long since anticipated me and has the man under observation. Indeed, a tiny human figurine has appeared on the electronic streetscape on the dashboard. Effortlessly, we slow and swoop around him. At the end of about 45 minutes, I feel like a driving test examiner, except that I want to tell the car that it has passed with flying colours. So take a moment here. 45-minute drive. Clearly Boris, extremely impressed. Obviously, not a single safety critical intervention, otherwise we would have known about it and that would have been a fail. In fact, were there any interventions at all? Oh, I asked the question too soon. There was only one moment of mild confusion when we pulled up in front of the Waldorf Astoria Hotel. A uniformed doorman appeared and waved us forward. The car did not move. The man waved again. Still, the car did nothing. Well, so not necessarily a safety intervention, but it's the only mention of anything that wasn't flawless in a 45-minute drive in Los Angeles. Ah, yes, said the man from Tesla. Quote, it doesn't yet recognize that gesture, but we are fixing it for the next iteration. It should be done next month. So this is a huge disclosure from Tesla. We've heard rumors and mumblings, but the vehicle soon, next iteration, next month, is going to recognize hand gestures, presumably including people waving you through, possibly flipping you off, the stop gesture as well. This is important because there are often times, roadworks, during accidents and so on, where gestures are used to guide traffic. If the car can't recognize these gestures, you'll have moments like this, and that's being addressed next fucking month. Quote, this car is incredible, but it's the worst it's ever going to be, and it's getting exponentially better. It was in 2009 that I first test drove an electric Tesla Roadster, then shaped like a Lotus. It conked out on the M40, and I was left with some skepticism about the future of the brand. Well, I am not making that mistake again. It seems outlandish now. It seems bonkers. But I've seen enough to know it's going to happen, and that sooner or later there will be a tipping point. Everyone will be doing it. Reading a book, playing cards, or just snoozing at the wheel of vehicles moving under their own volition. Faster, more quietly, with less pollution and more safety. Johnson has hit the nail on the head. A surprisingly positive piece featured in the mainstream media, although, in fairness, it was the guest article written by Boris Johnson as opposed to a quote-unquote journalist. Possibly the fact that he is the ex-Prime Minister of the UK might be enough to attract the eyeballs that normally would need something extremely negative. E.g., Tesla operating autonomously, allegedly, apparently, drives off a bridge and kills everybody, etc. Either way, though, this is pretty incredible to see in the media, and you have to understand that this was a trip around Los Angeles, an extremely chaotic city. And during those 45 minutes, the only moment of mild confusion, so obviously there weren't any safety critical interventions at all, was literally a doorman waving the car forward and the car not yet recognizing what that hand signal meant. But again, that's being updated and fixed next month. In conclusion, obviously, Tesla is decades away from solving autonomy. Plus, even when they do, it's not a big deal. Everyone else will catch up exactly at the same time anyway. And you should totally ignore the possible implications, especially if you're a Tesla stock investor. Want more content? Early access? A bunch of perks? Click the links in the pinned comment. AG1 is awesome. I've been taking it daily now for more than 3 years. It's a great way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's packed full of vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients. Plus, has prebiotics, probiotics, and adaptogens to improve gut health, regularity, and help your body handle stress. I'm always looking for an edge to help me feel and perform my best, which is why I haven't missed a day of AG1 for more than 3 years. And I haven't missed a daily video in more than 3 years. Must be a coincidence, right? Just try it and see how you feel. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. But don't take my word for it. This is what viewers of the channel had to say after trying AG1. I feel like I have a lot more energy since I started on AG1. By the way, viewer, that makes 2 of us. On to the next. Just got my AG1 in the mail. Legit feeling the effects after day 3. This viewer's been taking AG1 for 8 months and says, what an investment. Another. 3 months ago, I started AG1 and have been enjoying the evenness of alertness and energy that lasts the day. I just started the wife on it too. Are you convinced yet? I mean, hey, it's worth trying, right? Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR or I can keep going. There's plenty more to come. This viewer, after about a month on AG1, definitely a lack of fatigue in the afternoon. Pleasant side effect is that my coffee intake has imploded and is almost down to 0. One more? Yeah, why not? I honestly feel younger and will be continuing to use AG1. This stuff really is crazy good. I didn't think it would be, but this stuff is awesome. It really is what everyone is saying. One more? Don't mind if I do. I've just received my 3rd month supply. I've drank it every day. I have so much energy throughout most of the day. I'm productive, started a new business, started socializing, refurbished a boat. It's no coincidence. Thank you for your persistence, your integrity, and your insights. Now look, These are not my words. These are not my testimonials. This is what you guys and girls are saying. Maybe it's 100% placebo effect. But even if that's the case, I think it's money well spent. Click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR and get yourself a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 plus K2 and 5 travel packs. If you're still skeptical, hey, I don't blame you. Everyone on the planet seems to be promoting AG1 now, but guess what? They weren't nearly 3 years ago when I had this to say privately to my Patreon audience before there was a relationship, when I was asked about what I was doing for my health, energy, and so on. Just sharing my genuine, honest thoughts about a product I'd recently discovered that was at the time called Athletic Greens, now AG1. If I could only recommend one supplement to take, Athletic Greens, and I'm not getting paid to say this, Athletic Greens is a fucking game changer. I cannot believe how effective this is. No longer having a lack of energy in the afternoons. It's fucking amazing. There's only one thing to recommend, seriously. Try Athletic Greens. You won't go back. So obviously, just like Elon Musk is a liar, a fraud, a con man, a scammer, a fake engineer, and Tesla's going bankrupt, you shouldn't trust that guy from about 3 years ago who, without any financial incentive, was promoting this product to his audience on Patreon when they were asking about health and what he's doing for supplements. Because obviously, there was some other reason he recommended that, obviously. Not sure what it was, but don't trust that guy. And all the testimonials, like my mental game has improved with AG1. I feel better than ever. I'm so impressed I've bought it for both my parents. I feel more focused and have better digestion. Incredible difference. No more afternoon fatigue. It's relieved gut issues. These are all just obviously fake testimonials from fake people. Right? Wrong. Just try it. Unless you hate yourself. If you hate yourself and you don't even want to risk possibly feeling better, this is not for you. But for everyone else, what's the worst that could happen? Try it for a month. See how you feel. It's a no-brainer. Just click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR. You'll get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 plus 5 travel packs. And you'll take the colossal risk that maybe you might have a similar experience to some of the people whose testimonials we've read in this video.